Good afternoon, everyone. I am Nimasha Sugathadasa from Department of Estate Management and Valuation from University of Sri Jayewardenepura. Today, I am going to present the study on the topic of moderating effect of gender on self-image and housing purchase intention in Sri Lanka. This study was led by Dr. Akshika Naratna, myself, and MCS Somaratha. So, this is the content of my presentation. So, background of the study. So this study is mainly done in two parts. First part is about finding the theoretical gap in housing market research. Then we have, as extension, we have find out the relationship when whether there is a moderating effect on gender on housing purchase intention. So before moving to the second part, I will briefly elaborate on the first part. So most of the theoretical models in the housing market is about focusing on a rational choice and optimizing behavior, which is failed to identify the actual buying behavior of housing buyers. So most of the research related to housing bias are based on the quantitative aspect, which is often overlooked by psychological aspects. So therefore, the first part of the study is focusing on uh, stressing out the importance of inclusion of such psychological aspect in purchasing housing decision making to get a clear picture of real purchasing behavior of consumers. So therefore, we have selected one of the most important consumer behavior construct, which is the self-concept, as our main major variable of the study. So, the study done by the Karunaratna and Aryavansha stated that there is a significant relationship between the self-image and housing purchasing intention in luxury housing market in Sri Lanka. So, then moving to the major concept of the studies, the purchasing intention can be defined as the probability of customers' readiness to purchase a particular product in the foreseeable future. Then self-image about the person's perception about himself. Then we have divided the topic into two parts: actual self-image and the ideal self-image. Actual self-image is about themselves based on who they then think they are, and ideal self about the who they think they like to be, just the futurist perspective of their self. So however, there is no research conduct on the gender moderation about the relationship between these self-image and housing purchase intention. So based on that, we have developed our general objective is to investigate the impact of gender moderation on the relationship between self-concept and housing purchase intention. So to achieve the general objectives, we have developed several hypotheses to find out the relationship with the actual ideal self-image with the housing purchase intention, and find out the moderation effect on gender. Then, throughout the study, the systematic and comprehensive literature review has been done to identify the gaps within the areas and to draw the conclusion of the study. So moving to the methodology part, the study follows the quantitative approach and having the populations about individuals with the potentials and having the intention to buy luxury housing units in Sri Lanka. So we have determined through the studies find out that market value between the 30 to 60 million is having the luxury housing market category. Then the purposive sampling is approach has been used to identify the potential housing buyers, and we have got 100 samples out of 150 expected samples. So with this sample size, we have found out that the most suitable techniques to analysis is using partial least squares to determine the relationship between the constructs. So with that, we have moved into our results. So based on that, the without moderation and the moderation, we have you can show that the actual self-image is having the positive relationship between the housing purchasing intention. However, all other construct has been rejected. So then the sampling adequacy and reliability and validity test has been done to confirm the results, which having providing the more reliability results. Since the results are exceeding the thresholds, so there is no error between the sample adequacy, reliability, and validity. So then we come to the result. So out of four hypotheses, the first hypothesis is the only one with and without moderation is satisfied whether there is a positive relationship between the actual self-image and the luxury purchasing intention of luxury houses. The same result is founded in the study done by Kamraratne and Aryavansha in 2015. So however, the second hypothesis has been rejected, but it is also reinforced in the literature, where by several scholars it is stated that the housing, the decision to purchase a real estate is having the relationship with their ideal self-image that they want to achieve, which may reflected in both choices of housing style and the neighborhood. Then, when it comes to moderation on the gender, the none of the hypothesis has been supported. So, this may due to the fact which we identify through the literature is mainly the luxury intention of buying a luxury house in Sri Lankan context is subjected to the collective decisions rather than individual decision making. So this was reinforced by several studies. First one is where which is Gibler and Nielsen and the owl meal will be stated in this is mainly because on in the current world the value placed on the society regardless of gender is equal. So due to that it is arguable that these people the male or a female will possess the same personality and personality attributes regardless of gender. So therefore they will have the common perception about the decisions relating to real estate. And at the same time there is another reason is about the changing household setting. So when it comes to in Sri Lankan context, this type of decision is having the higher amount of investment, and so this kind of high decision is most is done on household setting by in joint decision making rather than individuals. This was mainly confirmed by the studies done by Gibler. It is stated that some studies in some real estate decision making, the most of the decisions taking relating to finance is based on joint decision making. So, and there are other studies about in the Asian context, especially in the Asian context, the most of the housing decisions are taken in joint decisions, which is followed due to the cultural and economical situation of the countries. But in the Western countries, the situation is almost different. So, based on those reasons, we can conclude that self-image playing a major role in housing consumer behavior. So the luxury housing purchasing decisions followed by intention is made collectively, where the household selects a house that meets their ideal and actual self-image attribute at a common point. So then finally the study self-image is playing a major role in housing consumer behavior. It intends to provide the crucial insight for the marketing managers to develop their positioning and advertising strategies, policymakers to develop housing policies, and academics to concern with more psychological aspect from the consumer behavior. So, with that, I here come to conclusion of my study, and also the future research should be suggested to do the study done using more sample sizes and apply the same model for the other housing market segments and find out whether the gender having the moderating effect on housing purchasing intention. So thank you for your kind attention and looking forward for your comments. Thank you.